Hello everyone, welcome to our new Manhwa series narration video. I hope you will like this one and it will attract viewers. Man, my viewers' numbers are depressing depending on how much effort I put it in. Make sure to subscribe and like the video and press the bell icon. Our story starts with two maids talking to each other and they say, "Did you see that earlier?" When the young master smiled at me, the other maid replied, "Yeah." I could hardly believe what I saw. I looked closer because I thought I was seeing things, but it was definitely the young master. They continue talking, and it seems that he's been training really hard recently. I didn't think he would be able to keep it up for long, but it's already been a week since he started. Hasn't it? Don't you think he's a bit too young to start setting himself straight? It really came out of nowhere. What do you think happened to him? We see someone looking out and window, and then he closes his eye and thinks to himself, "I will make sure the tragedy doesn't repeat itself. In this life, I will definitely change things." This is our protagonist, Arun Steelguard, and he is 16 years old. He thinks that, 33 years old. That's how old I was when I died in my past life. We skip to his last life where he thinks to himself that. So this is what it has come to. We see that 33 years old Arun is strapped to a chair with blood all over his body and a person is standing beside him holding a knife to torture him. We then see Arun explaining his life. He says, "After being born into the prestigious Stelgard family, which has governed over the northern Navarro for generations, I lived my entire life under my grandfather, the war hero who was able to overcome the Feiwei Empire's conquering ambition, and my father who was prodigious knight. His grandfather was a mythical rank knight Leiskin Steelguard, and his father was a heroic rank knight named Lev Adon Steelguard." Then he explains that, "I was just a mere third-class knight, and could not get anywhere close to them." He says that, "After becoming the Lord, even with my lack of skills, I lost everything within 3 years." He speaks of what others think of him. We see people talking about him that they say there are cases where a dog is born under a family of tigers, and this was exactly the case. The count who has tainted the name and prestige of the Steelguard family. The disgraceful lord who has helplessly lost his territory to others. He says with sadness in his eyes, "I was treated no better than a beggar out on the streets and was a laughingstock for everyone. But everything they said about me is true." He continues telling us, "Even if I wouldn't be able to become as great of a lord as my father, I still aspired to become at least a decent lord. But in the end, I lost all of my wealth because I got scammed. On top of that, Kuntz, who has been my enemy since I was a child because of the assassin he sent to me, I was on the brink of death. Kuntz, that bastard. He always had an inferiority complex towards me, and now he's going as far as to doing this even after taking everything I had." The assassin the Kuntz sent picks up a book and says, "This must be it? The I-dimensional transaction bookie, what's this? It's all blank papers?" Arun screams at him, "Don't touch that." The assassin kicks him in belly and tells him to shut up. Arun is all covered with blood and thinks that the dimensional transaction book isn't just composed of simple blank papers. It's my family's treasure which allows you to trade items with those who exist in different dimensions. If only I was smart about using it and didn't get scammed, I could have built the family back up again." The assassin mock him by saying, "Tio, think you spent your entire wealth on a blank paper such as this? The rumors of you being an idiot must be correct." Arun tells the assassin, "No. Give it back. It's mine." We see a totem dropping from the book. Arun recognizes the totem as the bookmark of wish. Arun thinks that this is one of the many items I was scammed into buying in the dimensional trading. Arun thinks of the seller who told him, "Customer, it's really expensive, but it's a magic item that can grant one wish within your lifetime." Arun thinks, and of course, it was nothing but a scam. "Grant my wish, my ass." He tells us that, "Since I lacked the ability to do so myself, I tried to utilize dimensional trading in order to build up my weakening family back up once again. But is it even possible for there to be an even bigger idiot and a pushover than I am?" We see the assassin shoving down a healing potion down Arun's mouth saying, "What are you fighting so hard about?" Arun asks him, "Why are you giving this to me?" Assassin replies, "My client wished for me to play around with you for a bit longer. I can't have you go off and die on me, can I?" Assassin picking up his knife says, "Kuntz told me to give it to you as his farewell gift." Arun thinks to himself that, "Kunts, You bastard, you weren't satisfied even after taking all of my wealth and territory. And now you want to take my life on top of that. Erwin speaks and says, who would have thought that the descendant of the Steelguard family would die such a meaningless death? Assassin says, did he finally go insane? Well, I guess it's for the better. He probably won't be able to handle it if he stays conscious. Erwin thinks that, please, if I were given another chance, I would correct my countless mistakes. If only I was able to turn back time. We see Erwin dying, and right after that the totem of bookmark of wish activates. We see that Erwin meets the conditions for being granted his wishes. The system says, please make your final wish. System gives errors because the subject's ego has crumbled, therefore they currently cannot make their wish. A solution is being searched for. The subject's desires will be analyzed with the given data. A total of 3 wishes were found. Now calculating the intensity of each wish. A significant difference could not be found. All wishes will be granted. We see Erwin waking up in his room. He is a bit confused about the situation. Erwin looks out the window and thinks, the familiar scenery I see outside my window every day. He says in all disbelief, just a few moments ago, I was being tortured to death by the assassin that Kuntz has sent me. We see someone knocking on the door saying, this is Ezel. May I come in? Erwin says Ezel. He thinks, if I remember correctly, Ezel was my personal caretaker a few decades ago. Ezel comes in and tells him, young master, the captain is looking for you. Erwin thinks it's really Ezel. Wait, this familiar bedroom, the interior decorations that bring back memories. Don't tell me. Erwin asks Ezel, Ezel, how old am I right now? Ezel, with a nervous face looking down, tells him, 16 years old, I presume. She think, why are you asking me such question all of a sudden? Erwin thinks to himself, I can't believe it. I really traveled back in time to 17 years ago. Erwin screams, Ezel, and hugs hers. Erwin asks her, you're really Ezel, right? Ezel replies with question, perhaps you had a nightmare? Erwin thinks to himself, even after my family had given up on me, Ezel was the only one who supported me until the very end. He says to Ezel, thank you so much, Ezel. Ezel is shocked at hearing this. She kneels down and says, I'm sorry, young master. Please tell me if I did anything wrong. I will receive the proper punishments and make sure to correct my mistakes. Erwin tells her, and no, that's not what I meant. Erwin gets a flashback from his previous where he was a jerk to Ezel and he thinks it's the karma of his life. Erwin tells Ezel to stand up and asks her, anyhow, what brings you here? Ezel replies, actually, the captain is looking for you. He's extremely furious since you skipped out on training yesterday. Erwin replies to her, all right, I'll go look for him immediately. Ezel shocked at hearing this. Erwin asks her, why are you acting so surprised? Do you not want me to go? She replies, no, sir. Erwin puts on his shirt while thinking, I don't know what happened to me, but it looks like I've been given another chance. The me who has brought forth the fall of the family with momentary mistakes and thus became a disgrace to the family is no longer alive. Erwin thinks that only the Erwin Stlguard, who will devote his current life to Chang, ing the future, exists. Erwin puts his sword on his shoulder and says, all right then, shall I head out? He further says, it's unfortunate that I lost all my hard-earned muscle, but I have no regrets. Ezel is all confused at hearing that. The scene shifts to Steelguard training grounds. Erwin thinks to himself, I see the knights who were the pride of the Steelguard family still exist now. He thinks, asking himself that, are there around 70 of them? He thinks to himself, I didn't know to appreciate them in my past life, and I regarded them as just sweaty and stinky old men. We see a big bulk knight approach him. He is a first-class knight, Haffel, the captain of the Steelguard Knights. He tells Erwin that, young master, you're finally here. Erwin replies to Haffel that, Captain, I'm really sorry. I was a little late. Erwin thinks to himself, seems like the captain is still the same as before. Haffel, with an annoyed look on his face, tells Erwin that, forget that, you surely didn't forget our promise? Since you missed out on training yesterday, your training will be doubled today. He continues screaming at Erwin, 50 laps around the train, ing grounds, sword swinging 1,000 times, and sword stabbing 1,000 times. Got it? I won't let you get away with it so easily this time. Erwin replies to him, all right, I will do it. Erwin tells Haffel that, should I get right to it? Haffel thinks that. Thought he would come up with another excuse to skip out on training. What's going on with him today? Erwin thinks to himself, the me who sets aside everything for the future me is in no more. Everything is back to where it was 17 years ago. The only thing that has changed is myself. Everything is up to my own hands. He thinks that, since I already know the future, I will continue to build up my skills. We see Erwin swinging his sword with all passion, and Haffel thinks, Ocho? He's being pretty serious. Erwin with determination thinks to himself, prevent any and all tragedies from happening and protect my family's legacy. We see Era laying on his back after the training thinking, it's the first time one ever actually finished my training. I'm pretty worn out, but I can do this. Considering my weaknesses and my strengths, in the upcoming future, I can overcome everything. I need to start off by increasing my stamina. We see a system window popping in front of Erwin saying that new user is detected. It asks Run if he wants to start dimensional trading. Erwin is all confused thinking, what the hell is this? Haffel asks him, young master, are you all right? Erwin asks Haffel, can you not see the thing floating in the air? Haffel replies, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you doing in empty air? Erwin asks him again, can you really not see this? Haffel thinks to himself, he's seeing things due to exhaustion. Erwin thinks that, could it be that I'm the only one who can see this? I don't know why it's floating in midair instead of it being in the form of a book, but I guess I'll do as. Erwin presses the accept button. He thinks that this really is the dimensional transaction book? It was originally in the form of a book, so how is this possible? Haffel screams at him, young master. He tells him that, did you regain your consciousness? You kept saying strange things. I don't think you're doing fine. I should bring you to the healer. Erwin replies to him, I am fine. I am not the person I used to be. Haffel thinks to himself that, Tio think that the young master had such an overwhelming aura. I guess the blood of the Steelguard family really flows in him. Erwin tells him since I finished today's training routine, I'll be heading back. Haparl replies to him, OH, yes SIR. Please rest well. Erwin thinks to himself that, I don't think Haffel would lie to me. But everything is way too clear in my eyes for it to be just hallucinations. Erwin walks back inside the Steelguard castle. A servant comes up to him saying, good morning, young master. You must be back from your training. Should I prepare a meal for you? Erwin replies to him, I'm too tired to eat right now. I'll just skip it. Erwin thinks to himself that, it seems that even the head chamberlain can't see it. That servant tells him that, OH, on the young master's eyes, there's some strange blue flame coming from it. Erwin think that, there's a blue flame on my eyes? Could it be that the dimensional transaction book went inside my eyes? Erwin replies to the servant, it's probably just mana. It's nothing serious. Servant replies, OH. I understand. It could just be mana. Erwin tell him that he is going to take a break now. Erwin comes to his room and closes his door while thinking, in a way, so everything was happening inside my eyes. He continued thinking, now that I think about it, it makes even less sense for me to travel back 17 years in time. He thinks that, it's a relief that the head chamberlain didn't figure out what it is. He hears an alarm, at the notification of the system telling him his username and nickname. He thinks, wait, why is there no deny option? And I remember my ID being not this before. Yes, I have no choice but to continue for now. He sees his stats in the dimensional trading system and says, I guess I'm starting again from level O. The supply and demand are all over the place. I guess IT can't be helped since this is still the Systemo channel. He notices something and says, HUH. Wait a second. Why do I have coins? Sees 10 coins in his account. He thinks to himself, did my account from my previous life transfer over? No, but then my trade rank isn't the same. He thinks that he was ranked 2 in previous life and he says, this is all over the place. Alright then, I'll start off by warming up. 1 week passes by and Haffel asks Erwin, you would like to spar with a knight? Is that a serious question? Erwin answers with sparkling eyes. Yeah. Haffel calls a knight and tells him, FRY. Come spar with the young master. But only use your left hand, and don't use your mana. Haffel thinks to himself that Ruin has been training hard recently, but it's still too early for him to have a full-on sparring with a knight. Erwin thinks to himself, I'm fighting with Fly, a mere 6th class knight, and he's giving me a handicap. This hurts my pride. Erwin tells the knight, don't worry about what the captain told you, and just go full out. The knight is shocked at what he is hearing. Erwin tells him, all right, here I come. Erwin is giving strong blows to the knight, which is making him shocked. The knight thinks, what is this? I was planning to go easy on him, but his sword speed, the weight, and the technique are all beyond what I had expected. Is this really the young master I've always known? Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, please.